phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, it should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from the basement bunker beneath KELO Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. I see that House Republicans, I think I'm going to join this in progress for a very short period of time here. House Republicans are live as we speak. I don't go live as often as I used to. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Here we go. Hold on. I can't see. Here we go. Give you a little audio.
To block funding. They sent out a whip notice to tell
they're
House
talking
Democrats
about funding Homeland
them,
Security.
to give them the order to vote down Homeland Security funding.
Crazy.
That's a bipartisan consensus bill that had already been prepared by the House. It will be on the floor tomorrow for yet another vote, and you better watch that board, and everybody in America better watch that board. Anybody who votes to block funding for the Homeland, it is shameful.
Especially right now.
To describe it. It speaks to a long record of Democrats' deliberate efforts to undermine America's safety and the essential operations of DHS.
Crazy.
We all remember that under Joe Biden, Democrats opened wide our nation's border for 4 catastrophic years. They allowed hundreds on the terrorist watch list to cross a border illegally, and unwittingly, they released 2.2 million known gotaways into the interior. We have no idea where so many of those people are. These are individuals who entered our country illegally. They were detected by law enforcement and they evaded capture. We don't know where they are. We don't know what they're doing.
This just blows my mind.
And we pray that we can find them and apprehend them. Keep your head on a swivel. CBP figures.
I'm amazed that we haven't seen more
Iranian nationals,
terror attacks inside of the United States
illegally rose precipitously under Joe Biden's open borders policy. During that period, at least 1,500 Iranians crossed the U.S. border illegally, and over 700 were released into the country. Now, the 1,500 number is not an accurate assessment because we frankly have no idea, because they weren't even keeping track of so many of the people coming across.
Crazy. Who
evaded capture and evaded notice because the border was wide open. So we don't know. We don't know how many dangerous people are here, how many Iranians who believed in that.
And I have thought about this. I'm going to pause this just for a second. I've thought about that. I'm amazed that we haven't seen something. Given the number of people that we allowed to pass across the border, I'm absolutely amazed that we have not seen those kinds of things happen. And I just, I cringe because are we yet to see something? It's very concerning.
That ideology of the Ayatollah who now is buried. Think about that. Over 1,500 Iranian nationals traveled multiple oceans to enter the U.S., not through legal ports of entry, but unlawfully at our border. It's just a small sample of the mess we inherited from Democrats with their radical ideology and the mess that President Trump and Republicans are working in earnest to clean up so we can save American lives and protect the homeland. And now we have, look, DHS is not just ICE and CBP, okay? It's so many agencies responsible for keeping us safe. You're talking about the Coast Guard, you're talking about FEMA, our cybersecurity infrastructure.
Yeah.
Our counterterrorism coordination, all of that is at stake right now. And the Democrats are going to vote tomorrow not to fund those operations. Just think of that. Massive mission critical functions, especially right now.
Is this going to make any difference? You think Democrats will hear any of this?
Have a fully funded, fully staffed DHS across all its departments. They cannot argue otherwise. It's madness. As members of this body, our first and most basic.
Well, I'm gonna leave it there. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna leave it there for now. But it is that whole thing is just absolutely crazy. what we have seen. Okay, there's some other news that's being made this morning. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth had another news conference this morning. He and the general from forgive me, his name just flew right through my mind. But Hegseth said that the U.S.-Israeli bombing campaign against Iran has only just begun. And he said that we are close to locking down complete control of Iranian skies. Said starting last night and to be completed in a few days, in under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military, finding and fixing their leaders and military leaders. Iran will be able to do nothing about it. They are toast and they know it, or at least soon enough they will know it. We have only just begun to hunt, dismantle, demoralize, destroy, and defeat their capabilities. And he said, the forces are delivering twice the power of shock and awe of Iraq in 2003. So what we are seeing right now, twice that. What we saw against Iraq in 2003, we're seeing twice that. Wow. That was pretty phenomenal, I think, at the time. Many of us watched that. But he said, we're playing for keeps. Our war fighters have maximum authorities granted personally by the president and yours truly. It's very early, as President Trump has said. We will take all the time we need to make sure that we succeed. General Dan Kane, that was the name I was searching for. Kane was also there. Trying to see if there. Hegseth had confirmed that an American submarine had torpedoed an Iranian warship overnight. I mentioned this briefly on the air this morning. And he said the Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. He also said that U.S. and Israeli forces took out the Iranian official that was behind the plan to assassinate Donald Trump. They figured out who it was. Rahman Mokaddam. He's the head of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Special Operations Division. And that they took him down, that he was the one that focused on surveilling and ultimately trying to assassinate Donald Trump. And so they got him. Hegseth said Iran tried to kill President Trump. Trump got the last laugh. And there was more to that, actually. I want to skim forward here just a little bit on this story. I had it. There was more. Hegseth actually had said some, perhaps it's on another story that I've got here. Let me take a look. Okay. No, I'm losing it. Okay. Now I had it earlier. So, Hegseth. Here we go. He said that this is what I just shared with you, that U.S. and Israeli forces hunted down and killed the Iranian official who was behind the plan to assassinate Trump. So this is, I think this undertaking is just absolutely massive. It's huge what we are seeing happen. I think that as time goes on, we are going to look back at this and understand that this moment in history will be key. This will be a massive moment in history. I think of, things that I've seen in my lifetime when Ronald Reagan stood in front of the wall and said, tear this wall down to Mr. Gorbachev. Those kinds of moments. I think we're living through something very similar right now. Also, you have Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison, who are getting a grilling from the House Oversight Committee today. And I saw Walz. Now, okay, I'm a bald guy, right? I'm a bald guy. I get it. I try to keep my hair fairly short because if you don't, it gets your hair up top starts sticking up and you get all kinds of weird. And Walz shows up looking like somebody had just roasted him. I seriously looked like somebody had just given him a Dutch rub, man. Just burning on it. His hair is all, and his eyes, Walz has those wide open eyes. He's testifying before Congress. And I thought, oh, that's got to be good. I haven't seen any of that yet, but that is going on this morning. So you got Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Attorney General Keith Ellison in front of the House Oversight Committee. They're questioning them about the fraud that we have seen coming out of Minnesota. Also today, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem will testify before the House Oversight Committee. She testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee yesterday. It did not go well for Noem. I think Noem got Senator Kennedy is somebody I watch very, very closely. So he's a smart cookie. Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana, smart guy. And he, Daily Wire, I think, had a story and focused pretty extensively on Kennedy and his questioning of Noem. And it did not go. I didn't think it went well for Kristi Noem. Also, I wanted to. There was something else. I think I'll touch on this right now. Fox News has a story. Several House Republicans are pushing Mike Johnson to go to war with Senate Republicans over the election security bill that is, I think, all but stalled in the U.S. Senate. You still have people who are out there. In fact, I see Rick Scott with the video here this morning, talking about the Save America Act. As much as I want this, I don't know. It's looking like this is done. So you got House Republicans now who are pushing the Speaker to go to war with the Republicans in the Senate over the Save America Act. I'll remind you, the Save America Act passed in the House. So the Senate is unable to get it done. I have been very vocal about the Save America Act. I think it's important to the country. It's not that it's important to me. I think it's easy to get out there and say, well, this is important to me. And, I think this is important for our children. This is important for our grandchildren, the Save America Act, that we make sure that when you go to register to vote, you need to show an ID. And when you go to vote, you need to show an ID, that those things are being done. That we need to make sure that American citizens are voting in American elections. We don't want anybody else voting. We don't want folks who are, not in the country legally, those who are not citizens, who don't have the right to vote. We don't want those folks voting in American elections. I just think this is absolutely pivotal that this be done. So we'll see what winds up happening. Representative Derek Van Orden of Wisconsin, among those pushing the House to reject any bills from the Senate until the Senate takes up the Save America Act. But again, that's not going to be enough because, okay, you bring it up for a vote, and I've talked about this before. You bring up the Save America Act, and the Democrats are going to filibuster and just outright, it's not going to get enough votes. So just voting on it's not an issue. I think, and this is one of the reasons why so many of us are lobbying so hard for the standing filibuster. You've got to have a standing filibuster. And more, I hear, some of the Republicans who are out there, well, then the Democrats are going to be able to do this, and then they're going to be able to do this, and empty. I just think it's absolutely empty. Okay, I wanted to run down X because I was looking at nationally syndicated talk show host Mike Gallagher. I got a soft spot for Gallagher. Gallagher let me host his show a number of years ago. I hosted for a day. And God bless him. I wasn't ready for it. If I were to do that today, I'd be much better at it. A much better understanding of how to engage the audience. And so, but God bless Mike Gallagher. So I got a soft spot for Gallagher. Gallagher is responding to this guy who beat Jasmine Crockett down at the U.S. This is the Democrat nominee for U.S. Senate down in Texas. And Gallagher, there's a clip that someone had posted saying, he said, our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. So apparently this guy is from the Joe Biden school. You have a giant porch out front and hey, all in favor of inviting people to come into the country legally. I think all of us are. Well, not everybody, but a lot of us are in favor. Hey, we want to see people come into the country legally. I've talked about this at length. And Gallagher says, if Texans can't defeat this lunacy, there's no hope for the state. He almost makes Jasmine Crockett look normal. That's pretty tough. There were a number of posts here. Mike Lee is still saying, pass the Save America Act, use the talking filibuster. Here's Senator Thune. As we were talking earlier about the Department of Homeland Security, and Thune says Democrats have kept the Department of Homeland Security shut down for 18 days now. The men and women of DHS do so much to keep our nation safe, and the absolute least we can do is ensure that they receive their paychecks. He's absolutely right. Here's Senator Bill Cassidy on the Save America Act. We must pass it to ensure only American citizens vote in our elections. He wrote an op-ed on that. The White House is continuing to call for it. Here's Senator Mark Wayne Mullen. The U.S. Senate must pass the Save America Act. He said, I'm a co-sponsor of the bill, and I'll be a yes vote. So there's been a lot of pressure on Senator Thune. Either, there are people who are talking about losing seats and so on, that if you don't do this, Republicans will lose all the power they have. And this is a great post by Miranda Devine, who I really appreciate. Miranda Devine is going after Senator Tom Tillis. And you may have seen the coverage of Republican Senator Tom Tillis going on Kristi Noem yesterday. He went nuts. He did. He really went nuts. And he told Noem, your leadership is a disaster, and he got after her. And Miranda Devine, who is a columnist at the New York Post and really insightful. I read her all the time because she's very, very insightful, smart person. You probably have heard Miranda Devine on Clay and Buck. Just very insightful person. And Devine says, look at the she posts a video clip of Senator Tom Tillis, and she says, look at the uncontrolled anger. He never got angry with the foul Mayorkas. Yeah, remember Alejandro Mayorkas? Never got angry with Mayorkas. And she says he was exceedingly courteous. How did this lunatic ever sneak onto a Republican ticket? Yes, that is a great question. He is in the middle of a lot of these things right now, and it's I don't get him either. I look at Tom Tillis and just absolutely shake my head. So he had all of this fury, for Kristi Noem, but never showed that kind of fury when Alejandro Mayorkas, when the borders were wide open and people were just coming into the country, never showed that kind of fury. I think that says something about people. All you got to do is watch their behavior. I've said this many times. All you've got to do is watch their behavior, and they're going to tell you who they are. And sometimes it's they say one thing, they do another. They're not who they seem to be. They're pretenders. They're Mark Levin, especially on X. Not that Mark Levin's a faker. I love Mark Levin. Levin has been going after Tucker Carlson big time. Tucker Catarlson, he's calling him now. Catarlson. Oh, you got to check that out. For those of you who are on X, it's a gold mine. It's just great stuff. All right, that's all I've got for you today. You have made it to the end of the video, which means you're part of my gallery of champions. We always throw a salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks on YouTube that are here each and every day. If you're not a subscriber of mine on YouTube yet, please become one. I would love to have you on board. So until tomorrow, my friend, I'm underground and go.